Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with my co-host is my secret friend, Noah Bailey. That'll make more sense in like half an hour. Anyway, so this past weekend, uh, San Diego, San Diego Comic Con 2022 finally happened. We didn't miss it this year. um, and yeah, admittedly, not as much stuff as I was hoping for happened this year. Like, unfortunately, no Invincible trailer, just something, just a release date, anything. No, okay. But Disney sure showed up
They did.
with two separate Marvel panels. Let's start with the first one that happened on Friday with the full-on Marvel animated show panel. Um, First bit of news out of that is that X-Men 97 will officially be premiering in fall of 2023. So earlier than expected,
Ooh,
actually, which is
yeah,
very nice.
big stuff. Love to see it.
Hmm
Bring it back. And hopefully, picks up as well receptive as it ended.
hmm Yep. Um, and from the concept art we've seen, we saw, you know, a lot of the same mutants we saw in the show, some new ones in the exact same art style from the from the 90s, which is something I was so hoping they would keep. Like that art style and that the animation style as a whole is so dated, but like it works for some
It
reason.
it's kind of for me, it's the iconic X-Men look. Like that's what I think about when I think X-Men. I think the
Oh
like
yeah.
the blues and the yellows and because like I know in like the movies they try to do like all black and stuff and like it's cool, but it doesn't work the
They
same
made
for
it
me.
work once, then they dropped it.
I know.
like, they got it exactly right for a trailer shot,
First
and then just
class.
decided not to keep it for the next movie. Whatever.
We're just like, okay, we'll just it's fine. It's fine.
Whatever. Um, but yeah, so it's coming 2023. Season 2 has already been greenlit as well.
Woo!
So fantastic.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. Um, Next up, we got some more information on Spider-Man Freshman Year, which I'm a little confused by what exactly this show is because originally it was pitched as like this MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man's origin.
Mm-hmm.
But then everything we saw from this panel showed multiple different Spider-Man suits, multiple different Marvel heroes, Spider-Man villains, which it wouldn't make sense for this Spider-Man to meet yet or at all. Like he Dr. Ock will be in this show, but he acted like he never saw a Dr. Octopus in No Way Home, so that's not like
That
surely has
doesn't
to be
make
like a
sense.
different dimension or a different reality
That
or something.
I can't, and that's my thing. I'm kind of going with it's a alternate universe until get told otherwise.
Right.
Because yeah, for like, because again, in order to make this line up with the MCU, they're gonna have to jump through an exponential amount of hoops, especially now
Yeah.
after No Way Home. So it's like you might as well just kind of keep it its own thing just to make it easier.
Right.
But we'll see what they try to
Yeah.
do.
And honestly, I'm all for this. I feel like if they did make this course correction, or if this was the original plan for all along, whatever, as long as they make a really good Spider-Man show, I won't really care. Like I'm not going into it like demanding continuity with with Homecoming and whatnot, but like
No,
as long as the, the action and the characters and whatnot are all good and the animation is good and whatnot, I, I'm fine with it. But they did say that at least Daredevil, voiced by Charlie Cox, and Doctor Strange are going to cameo in there somewhere. So cool.
how
Um,
does that work?
like I'm going on the assumption, like you said, that it will be a different
And
multiverse.
yeah, okay, that's true.
it's
Oh,
it'll be
I don't know.
so it will be the MCU Peter Parker, but just like one multiverse over, where all of these different villains did he did meet all these villains in his first year, and all of the MCU characters exist as they do in the MCU. It's they can make it work. It's fine.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
animated, it's fine.
yeah. But I mean, they showed the Future Foundation suit, which is always a win. So,
So underrated.
um, yeah, yeah. As long as the good show, I won't be splitting the details about it, continuity and whatnot. Um, it was also confirmed that Marvel Zombies, the spinoff of What If, that one What If episode, will officially be mature rated. So
Ooh.
if they're willing to make one of their animated shows mature rated, I have a feeling some other MCU stuff could go that way. So
Oh, you think?
yeah, I think specifically some of the things coming to Disney Plus, which we'll touch on in a second. But yeah, I mean that the one episode of What If was already like pushing it as it was.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't like
It was
I don't know
pretty
how they
violent.
yeah I don't know how they got away with that, but they did. Um, but yeah, that's like them just going all in on it being a mature show that makes me infinitely more excited for it. Um, they also did announce that What If season 2 is releasing early next year, and season 3 has already been ordered. So
Nice.
nice, yeah,
I'm interested to see where they go. Because season one kind of wrapped up pretty well. So I'm interested to see how season two, whether they just completely start new or kind of follow up or what. So I know the Gamora from that universe didn't really get explained, but that's probably where they'll start. Maybe we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. That episode was almost finished, but due to COVID, they had to like switch around release dates. Originally, season 1 of What If was going to have 10 episodes, with that episode, with the Gamora one being like I think the last episode before the Thor one, but they just couldn't get it to work in time, so they pushed it to season
Mm.
2. But but because the multiverse works how it does, it doesn't really matter when that episode
No.
comes, as long as it does. So yeah, I am a little curious if they're gonna do a thing like in season 1 where they're gonna like kind of be loosely building to something climactic, or if these are gonna be more one off, or if Kang is gonna be involved at all in this, because like we know from other announcements that Kang is gonna be more involved in stuff going
Mm-hmm.
forward. So like I feel like this makes sense for him to be involved in What If as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, it is yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I hope season 2 of What If is at least as good. Hopefully better. Actually, I remember season 1 is like fine. I remember like 3 episodes I really liked, and others I was just kind of like, they're fine. But, but if you can be at least that good,
Yeah,
hopefully better.
it's like the ones I remember I really liking were like I really liked the Killmonger Iron Man one. That was really good.
Mm,
The zombies one was good. I liked the T'Challa Star Lord one a lot more than I expected to. I thought I
right.
was gonna hate that episode. That was one of my favorites.
Mm.
And
The
then
Doctor Strange one was
there,
interesting,
yeah, that was another one. Yeah,
and then obviously the finale was amazing.
yeah, that was really good. I liked what they did with the whole like they brought it like you kind of felt like they were gonna do it, but the fact that they actually did it was actually kind of nice. They kind of brought everyone together. That
Right.
was kind of cool.
Yeah. But there are some others that I didn't really love.
Yeah,
But that's with any show, really. It's what
right.
it is. um, So, I think that was all the stuff from the Disney animated Marvel panel. Now moving on to the next day, where they did a full blowout on just every Marvel thing ever coming out the next 5 years. Starting with a new trailer for She-Hulk. Wong and Daredevil are in it. Already best show ever. It's like Wong improves everything.
Yes. I like anytime they add Wong to something, I just like it more.
Yeah.
Just no matter what, just because.
Mm. I
Yes. Wong.
She-Hulk herself still looks a little weird.
Yeah.
I'll probably get used to it, but like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's gonna be definitely still gonna be a hard sell for some people, and I understand that.
And,
Um,
and like it's like the CGI for a lot of these Disney shows lately has been kind of rough, because especially Miss Marvel too. There
could have
was
been better.
there were some moments where I'm just like, oh, that's a headache. But
Hmm.
granted, we'll see. But again, I don't think it'll be super distracting.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
we'll see. Yeah, that's coming out in August, so looking forward to that. Um, a new trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Hmm.
You wanna go with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, sure. I mean, it happened. It was a very like tribute trailer, which is fine. It makes a lot of sense. As far as what's actually happening, we didn't get a ton, but
Eh,
I mean, I thought it was interesting. But I want to see more. But
oh yeah. We did get our first look of um, Namor in that trailer,
mm,
so which
but yeah,
I hope they like emphasize that he actually is a mutant because he was the comics have been a little wishy washy whether or not he actually is the first mutant because like he was born with wings on his feet. So I hope the MCU just like yeah he's a mutant just whatever if
we'll
they
just roll
made
with it. We're
Miss
making him
Marvel why
mutants
not
now.
make him one too.
Yeah, I mean, just at this point, just roll with it. Like, let's just stream roll and get X-Men in here as soon as possible.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we got our first look at Riri Williams for a second there, who's getting her own show coming
Mm.
uh, fall of 2023. Um, oh yeah, probably the most interesting thing about the Black Panther segment of this panel was that they officially confirmed that Wakanda Forever will technically end Phase 4 of the MCU.
Mm.
And
That was kind of surprising.
yeah, I don't I don't necessarily question their decision to end it there, but like essentially Black Panther ending it and then Ant-Man 3 starting phase 5 kind of makes me feel like they're just kind of just being like phase 5, 4, 5 and 6 are just being like kind of arbitrarily like yeah, whatever. Like like we after we have like X number of projects, we'll just end it, which I don't.
Yeah, I see your point. Granted, there has been a lot going on in Phase 4, especially when you count the shows and the movies.
Yes.
But yeah, I kind of feel like this isn't like an exclamation point of a phase ending that we usually get. And I
Yeah,
think that's the part that's kind of like, oh, okay, we're stopping here.
because obviously, like for example, Age of Ultron wasn't like any big. It wasn't even really any world-changing event, but like I guess technically Ant-Man ended Phase 3 too. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it it at least like felt like a culmination of the movies that were leading into it. Uh, and then obviously, Infinity War and Endgame were the culmination of the entire saga.
Yeah.
Black Panther doesn't feel like it's going to be a culmination of like, or even like really take themes from any of the previous movies. It's just going to be like, okay, we're just going to arbitrarily end it here. Ant-Man 3 is going to arbitrarily start Phase 5. Just whatever.
Yeah, and I think And I think what it might be is kind of like what you mentioned with the whole mutant thing. It's like maybe that kind of like we end on a note of like, okay, after this point, now it's like mutants are a thing. This is happening now. So maybe that's kind of like, going into Ant-Man and just going further. It's like, okay, now stuff we've never seen is just happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a new era. It's kind of ushering in. So maybe
Right.
that's kind of what it's going for.
I think my biggest hangup is the fact that I feel like Ant-Man 3 feels like, from what I've seen from from the little screenshots we've seen, just synopsises of it, I feel like that has the energy of a phase ending movie because we're gonna see
Mm-hmm.
Kang for the first time on the big screen. Um, Ant-Man has Ant-Man 1 ended phase 2 technically, and like I don't know, it feels like, even though Ant-Man is not like the biggest name in comics, just like what this movie is going to be presenting feels like it could have major implications for a lot of things going forward with
Right.
Kang being involved.
Yeah,
Um,
and also it's also a trilogy movie also because
yeah,
this is Ant-Man's third movie and like it does feel like a bigger piece than this Black
yeah.
Panther would. So
Although now that I think about it, um, now that I think about it, Phase 2 and 3 both started with a trilogy ending movie with Iron Man and Captain America. So now Ant-Man finishes. Or,
oh, maybe
yeah,
that was the plan the whole way. Maybe
sure.
like totally, I totally buy that for
Mhm.
a second.
um, what was I gonna say? But yeah, Ant-Man 3 officially being confirmed again for February of next year. Again, starting Phase 5, MODOK has been confirmed for that movie,
Mm,
which does kind of make me not worried, but like I'm a little concerned about like, obviously Kang is going to be, you know, a major factor of that movie, but I feel like MODOK is maybe doing a little too much if they don't balance it correctly.
mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah,
Well, my
because
thing is, I know Kang's probably still going to be big in Loki, so maybe he kind of is the villain, but also kind of is more hands off. And then we
yeah,
kind of see him in multiple avenues. Because I'm expecting Kang to kind of be around in multiple things, kind of be an overarching
oh
phase
yeah,
villain than just a one time. So like maybe this is kind of just the first taste after Loki, and then it kind of goes from there and
hmm
gradually builds up.
right. Because Loki season 2 is coming next summer. I'm not obviously not expecting like Kang to be defeated by the end of Ant-Man 3. That's not happening. But him to at least like show up in a major
Yeah,
moment. Yeah,
just kind of have his presence be known, but also like, oh, here's Modoc, like you know what I mean, or something
right.
like that.
Because he was announced. He was announced for Ant-Man 3 back in like 2019,
Yeah, it was a while
and
back.
MODOK was only confirmed this weekend.
It's like 2 days ago.
Yeah. um, and also like the fact that MODOK has this like very elaborate, crazy backstory to him that I just hope they do him justice on top of getting Kang in there. But I'm sure they can make it work. I'm not like
Yeah,
concerned.
they'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Guardians Volume 3 is officially coming May of next year. Uh, and they James Gunn has said that even though this does not mean that anyone in particular is going to like die or whatever, this will be the end of this Guardian of the Galaxy team. So do with that information what you will.
Speculate, speculate, speculate. Everyone's going to die.
I mean, maybe, but um, I mean, it wouldn't be like the biggest deal uh, if like multiple of them die or leave the team or whatever, because like the Guardians have been around in the comics for a while, and there have been many different people on the team, so they could Guardians 4 can still happen with a completely different team, I guess. But yeah. Um, and also confirmed that the High Evolutionary will be will be the main villain, who is one of those characters that like if you read like top 10 strongest Marvel characters, he's like number 3, just randomly. It's just like some guy out in space who's just like omnipotently powerful for no reason.
Right. Oh, great! Some just broken villain just
Yep.
because.
And again, just like with Gore, even though he's stupid powerful, he's just gonna be like a movie.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like these super power villains, but it's like, okay, are we gonna manage them to be like, because they don't want to distract from other villains, but you also don't have to necessarily kill them. But
Yeah, like
eh,
they did the same thing with Ultron. They did the same thing with Ego.
mm-hmm.
I don't think Dormammu's coming back. Like,
Doubt it.
yeah, might get referenced. But I don't think he's actually like gonna be
No,
back.
which is weird because like Dormammu was like a big hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and like theoretically, you would think since the Time Stone didn't exist for those 5 years, you would think that would be him, unless he also got snapped out of existence somehow, which I don't think is the case
I
since he
don't
lives in
think
the
he.
pocket dimension. But whatever.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think he applies, but then again, would I know?
He-
I don't know.
um, yeah, Guardians 3, kind of next year finally. Um, cool. Um, Sticking with stuff for next year, they reconfirmed that both Echo and Loki season 2 are both coming out next summer. My guess is like April, May, and then
Mm-hmm.
July, August ish for one or the other.
Or at the same time, and they'll just both release the episodes on the same day because that's not how you should do things.
Hmm.
Oh, so painful.
They're never going to do it with their own stuff. They're just going to do it with, you know,
But like you're the same company. You know when the show is coming out, and you're
correct.
choosing to fight your. It's like in the first couple episodes of Miss Marvel were good, and it's like
Uh,
no one saw the first episode because it's like middle of Kenobi. It's like,
mhm.
bro, ah,
Yep.
whatever. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine.
I'm
It's
not an executive. There's nothing I can
fine. Yeah.
do.
Although, if I were an executive, I personally would have released Blade in October 2023, but we're getting it in November 23. Whatever. I It just feels perfect to put that in October, but Disney loves their November spots. Fine. But, you know,
Right,
still
right.
cool that Blade is coming out. I was expecting that to be a 24 movie, but it's officially a
23,
2023. So,
which is nice.
yeah,
I'll
very
take
nice.
it.
Yeah. Like I said, Ironheart's coming out that fall.
Mm-hmm.
The Agatha show has gotten a name change to Agatha Coven of Chaos, which is something.
Sounds pretty ominous. Yeah.
Yeah. It was House of Harkness, now it's Coven of Chaos, so it's cool. It's coming out
Different
when
name, but probably who knows? Probably same thing.
yeah, coming out winter 2023. Um, they It had been a rumor for a while, but they officially confirmed Captain America 4 is happening. The Sam Wilson Captain America called Captain America New World Order. So, which I think is the name of that's the name of either the first or second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, weirdly enough. So,
I think you're right.
yeah.
Double checking. And yep, first episode.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's one of So one of my personal biggest gripes with Phase 4 of the MCU so far, we mentioned last week, is the fact that um, the movies haven't really seemed to like reference each other kind of
At
at
all.
all. Like even the shows don't talk to each other to the point where Avenger Con happened in Miss Marvel, and there wasn't a single Captain America, the same Wilson Captain America anywhere. No merchandise, no
No.
like nothing. Like for
The only like continuity at all that I've really noticed is like the like throwaway Westview thing from Doctor Strange too. And like
right.
other than that, there's been like you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
feels like there hasn't been a lot of anything else going on.
So it is very cool that Sam Wilson Captain America is officially getting his own movie, but I don't know. Like I feel like him taking the mantle of Captain America should have been a bigger deal in the world than it seems to have been. But oh well.
Especially since they made it such a big deal in the show, and then it's like nobody else cared.
Yep.
Because like in the show, they made this like ginormous thing. Like, oh, the world's not gonna like this. Well, the world's gotta get used to it. The world. Wait, what happened? Oh,
Yeah.
Captain America's black. Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Like whatever. Like I don't know. I know they were trying to do that for the show and like for like real world issues, but it was just kind of like okay.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. Like especially since he can fly, I feel like I don't know, like him just like swooping in for like one scene in one of these movies somewhere wouldn't have been out of place. Or like I don't know.
at
I
least
feel like
just mentioned. Like I
yeah,
mean,
but it is cool that like at least Marvel seems to acknowledge him again and giving him his own movie. So that's cool. Coming out May 2024. Um, real quick, do you want to turn your lights? You can't really see.
oh yeah, sorry. It's always bright when we start, and then by the
Yeah.
time it gets going, I'm like, it is significantly dark in here. Okay.
Okay. So two more things that were rumors but have officially been confirmed. Daredevil Born Again is coming spring 2024.
Woo!
And I know last podcast we were saying how like yeah the 6 episode Disney Plus show format has been a little hit or miss so far, mostly misses as far as like rushing stuff and feeling like it just
Yes.
didn't live up to its potential. But they officially confirmed that this will be an 18 episode Daredevil show.
Ooh.
Yeah, full on. Yeah, I think the when they were released on Netflix, it was only 10 episodes per 10, maybe
That's what I was
13.
thinking. I was like, I think that's more than normal, so
That's that's good. That's good.
that's great.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that's too long though, because like I don't know. I'm kind of I don't know. It's like whenever a show gets more than like 15 episodes, I start getting like CW scare, where it's like they kind of just have episodes just to have episodes.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like yeah, like the Flash has 20 something
Yeah,
episodes per
every
season.
season they've got like 23 episodes, and it's just like this season need to be like 12. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
they
this
kind of
season could
just
have been a long
force.
movie and would have been over.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of like, oh man, they're gonna have so much filler just because, and it's like they have to like power scale the villain, but they also have to like nerf the hero in certain situations because the season be
Uh-huh.
over in 5 episodes if they don't, and
Yep.
like,
But luckily,
we'll see though.
Daredevil is just a pretty good acrobat, and that's like his main thing. Is not he can't run faster than time, so they
Me runs accidentally runs back in time. Also me. Oh man, they got away.
yep.
What? There are so many reasons that makes no sense.
quick tangent. My absolute favorite moment from that show was the episode where he was taken to that Dimension Island, the place where like with Gorilla City, where he had to fight that
Mm-hmm.
big white gorilla, and like
Mm-hmm.
he was just getting his butt handed to him. He kept like running around in circles that actually like hitting him, and then the gorilla kept hitting him, and then he's like, I've tried everything and nothing's working, and then Cisco is like, try punching him really hard, and he does, and that works. It's like you didn't try hitting him at all before this point, and the first time you go in for a punch, it just works.
Well, my thing is like that should be your immediate thought every time.
Uh,
Run fast, hit it, and if it doesn't fall down, guess
hit,
what?
hit
Do
again.
it again. Like it's not. I don't know. I know it's because the show needs more episodes, but it's like you gotta be like, I don't know, especially after so many seasons of doing it. It's like, come on,
I think
like
this was like
we know
season
how this is
three. It
gonna
wasn't
go.
even that far in.
I know, but still, like you've literally gone back in time multiple times by this point,
Eh?
and you're just kind of like, what am I gonna do? Like anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's
Yeah, I don't know, but
yeah, the Flash is not a character that I feel like needs that many episodes because all his problems can be solved in like 5 seconds if he's actually smart enough to use
yep.
them, which he should be by the third season. But here we are. But
Whatever. But yeah, the because we haven't had a Daredevil show in 5 years.
five ever.
Yeah, we'll say five ever. 'Cause I think it was canceled like a couple months after Infinity
It's
War
like
came out, so it was
2017,
2018, I think.
maybe I don't remember.
Yeah, because
It's been a
it
while.
was the meme that Thanos like snapped out all the different
Oh
Netflix
yeah, that's
shows.
right. All the other Netflix universe got snapped.
Yeah.
Good times.
So it would be 6 years since he got his own show. He'll obviously cameo in She-Hulk, have some uh, probably alternate universe interaction with Spider-Man in the freshman year show, but for him finally, and also Echo, he's probably going to be in that too. Um,
True.
yeah, he finally getting his own show. I think it's fine that he's going to get 18 episodes. Um, that also might be they also might spend some of that time to at least like touch on some of the other heroes like Punisher, Jessica Jones, etc. Just like throwing one episode here and
As they
there for
should.
them. I think that'd be fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm very happy that the Daredevil stands can finally shut up because every single time I never actually watched all of Daredevil. I think I watched like most of season one and then just kind of fell off it. Um,
Hmm.
but every single time there's a new Disney Plus show, if anyone on the internet says, I like the Moon Knight, like it's not as good as Daredevil, it's like, shut up. No one cares.
It's like the Breaking Bad of like superhero shows. It's
Hmm.
like if a show's good, it's like, you know what's really good though? Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad
It's
is good.
like, I agree. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just like no one asked you. It's not that you're wrong. It's that you were uninvited.
Yes. Like, so if this show comes out and is at least pretty good, hopefully they can just be like, they can just stay in their corner and not, you know, just be happy with what they have and not infect other communities. Be like, your show isn't as good as mine, therefore you suck, or whatever they like to do.
Right.
Um, the other thing that was officially confirmed after months of rumors, a Thunderbolts movie is officially coming on July 2024. So,
Woo.
yep. Kevin Feige confirmed that it'll be a team up of both supervillains that we've seen and our ones to come. So, we'll see what probably Titana, I think is her name, that that strong lady from She-Hulk. She might be someone. Whoever, there's going to be so many chances for random people just to like show up for half a second just to be thrown on Thunderbolts. So, um, and I don't think there's any like hard limit to how many people should be on the team. So,
Yeah, as many as it makes it fun.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's cool. It's one of the very few things that feels pretty consistent throughout this phase so far about them building towards, because Val has shown up in two different things we've seen. We're now going to see Abomination in two different Phase 4 things with
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi and now She-Hulk. And I assume he's going to show up in Thunderbolts. Um, so yeah, that's very exciting. However, I feel this movie in particular kind of proves my theory about them just arbitrarily deciding when phases end because Thunderbolts, that's going to be the end of Phase 5.
Hmm.
So Phase 5 runs from February 2023 through July of 24.
That's really short for a phase.
So yes, but
There's a
there's
lot.
a ton of movies and shows in that
That's
time.
true. That's a very packed phase.
Because like even just show wise, we're getting Echo, Loki, Ironheart, Agatha, Daredevil. That confirmed so far.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, yeah, and there's
And over the course of a year and a half, that's like, when is the downtime? That I think about it, because like a show usually lasts like a month and a half or two, and
mhm,
Daredevil's gonna be 18 episodes.
yeah.
Like if that's weekly, I
I
mean
I
that's
have a feeling
like
they might just drop it all at once. That might be their play because that's what happened with
keep the Netflix style.
yeah, maybe
But I don't think they should do that
they
though.
shouldn't. 18 is a long time to commit. They did it with
What if they
Bad
did it?
Batch, but sorry, what?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. But no. What if they did it in like threes or something?
Like three at a
Or maybe
time?
started off with like three or so, and then
Yeah,
went one at a time.
I mean that definitely could work. It would still
I
be
don't know.
six weeks, which is usually about what it is anyway.
Right.
Um,
But then again, would everybody be caught up in that? Well, I feel like it'd be really easy to fall behind though. But
yes,
that's
yes,
other people's problem.
exactly. And there's still plenty of holes for other movies to slot in there. I think Shang-Chi 2 has
Mm-hmm.
been confirmed. Was doesn't give any kind of release date, but it has been at least like rumored to be happening. Um, there's there's other stuff out there that's been either rumored or talked about that could slot somewhere in Phase 5 that hasn't been talked about yet. So even though it is only about a year and a half, there's still a ton of stuff in that time. So yeah, that's I want to weirdly enough now that I think about it, Thunderbolts potentially does have kind of the same energy of like an Avengers where it's like bits and pieces from the past phases from the past movies from this phase can like come together to form a team. So that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that
Yeah,
works.
it's like anti-Avengers basically.
Yeah. Okay. But then here we get into the good stuff. Beginning of Phase 6 in November 2024 is finally when the Fantastic Four are introduced into the MCU.
Woo!
About time. No casting announcement, no even character announcement or anything. Just Fantastic Four is finally coming in that year. We don't have a director attached to it since John Watts left the project a couple of months ago, but it's coming. They got time to make it.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. We got literally years, so like no
Mm,
rush.
yeah, I'm not even expecting a casting announcement that like D23 or whatever. I think that'll be probably next year.
We probably got a year or so at least. Do you think that the kind of negative, like John Krasinski, like backlash from Multiverse of Madness is going to prevent him from being
I
Mr.
don't
Fantastic legitimately?
I don't think he was ever actually going to ever be Fantastic or Mr. Fantastic in the real continuity in the first place. Because I don't think because they're not going to get Patrick Stewart to play Professor X in this
This is true.
continuity. I don't think the Inhumans are ever like really going to be canon to this MCU.
No.
Obviously, Captain Carter exists. So I don't.
Right.
There are different players that just like aren't who they would be in the main continuity. So it was nice for the people who fan cast him in there, and I think he did a good enough job for what he was given to do. But I never was like I never went into that movie, even after hearing all the rumors, being like, "Oh, this is finally going to see him be fantastic, Mr. Fantastic," and then like springboard into him being that. And then I don't think that'll. I think there are many other options for that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know. It just I don't know. I just like seeing him and
I
stuff.
agree. I think this does kind of preclude him from being anybody in the MCU because like if he's like it would be definitely weird if 4 or 5 years down the line they cast him as some random X-Men or something, but
It
he's
wouldn't
already
work.
been Mr. Fantastic in a different timeline. That would be a little weird.
Right. So it's kind of like it doesn't really work, and then you can't really put, like you said, you can't really put him as anyone else. But then if you don't cast him as Reed Richards, then it's like, is he just barred for the MCU to just have that one spot and that's it?
Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of doesn't necessarily want to. Because
That's also cool.
he tried out for Captain America back in 2000, yeah, like 2009 or whatever, and he got passed for the role, which he was fine with. But like he's he has his own little like Jack Ryan other stuff that he does. So he doesn't like
I
need
forgot
to be
about
in the
Jack
MCU.
Ryan.
Um, as much as I would
What does
like
he
to
do?
see more of him, I don't think he like. Not every
Yeah,
actor needs to be in the MCU,
but
and
like they could be.
it could be, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he's been in a couple of cool things.
Yeah. Um, okay. So, uh, after Fantastic Four, they went ahead and announced two Avengers movies coming in 2025. The
Yeah.
first being Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, coming May 2025. And actually, today they officially confirmed that Destin Daniel Cretton, the guy that directed Shang-Chi, will be directing the Kang Dynasty. So that's I like that name a lot. uh, the name itself does kind of give off Age of Ultron vibes. However, because we know for a fact he'll be in at least Quantumanium and Loki season 2, and I'm hoping What If somewhere in there, it'll feel like a more realized arc of like, oh, he's been around
Mhm.
for a while, and we finally have to deal with him.
Right, it has more weight to it by the time we actually get there.
Yeah, because yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with Phase Two was like they for some reason felt they needed to do Age of Ultron now when like just like I don't know that it felt like a very small event for such like a massive moment in the comics just to be this like, one movie and then that doesn't even really like impact much else outside of that.
Hmm.
But this it will have like a build up to it. And then in November of that same year, they went ahead and announced Avengers Secret Wars.
This is awesome.
Yes, no shot is it coming out that year. I guarantee that is not coming out in
Don't, hey, hey,
2025.
hey, hey. They just announced it. Don't already poke holes in it. We could get two Avengers movies in the same year. Don't ruin this.
But like I'm not saying we shouldn't get two Avengers movies in the same year, but that feels a little feels like a little much. Like,
I mean, agreed. But do you not want two Avengers movies in the same year?
I want two Avengers movies tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, like, let them, if they want to dream, let them dream.
Yeah. But it's like, it's going to be a little weird because I'm not entirely sure if they're going to go more so the Secret Wars from the 80s or the newer, I think it was 2015 run where Doctor Doom was more involved in it. But either way, Fantastic Four into Kang Dynasty into Secret Wars feels like a very like natural progression for like Doctor Doom to mess with stuff. Like if he is going to be like the main villain of Secret Wars, I think. Plus, there's going to be other stuff like between there because so far Phase 6 has only had Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars announced. There's going to be other stuff in there. Obviously, we don't know what yet, but there's going to be other stuff in there. But so far, Phase 6 feels very strong.
Again, two, not one,
Yeah.
not one and two Avengers movies in the same year. Never even been done. So, like, yeah, this is big stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah. So my main reasoning for why I feel like that movie's getting pushed, um, this might sound super negative, but like we're still not technically done with the pandemic we're currently in, and considering how monkeypox goes, that could also be its whole other thing. Again, probably won't, but you never know. So, and who knows what'll happen, 2023, 2024, so for stuff to get delayed. Two, considering they haven't announced anything with X-Men yet. They didn't mention anything new with, Deadpool, Spider-Man, the Eternals. They didn't even mention any new Thor movie. Armor Wars wasn't mentioned anywhere in there. Young Avengers is something that I feel they should either have a show or movie of at some point in there. I just feel like, obviously, I can't see the entire phase structure yet, but I feel like they need just a little more time between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars to bridge that. If for no other reasons than just to have more characters for Secret Wars to play with. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got to make it big. But at the same time, you don't want to just add characters just for the sake of, oh, we have this character just to use them for this and never again. But I mean, I think they'll be okay. Because they're usually good about making characters worth it, at least for the time they have them.
Yeah. But also, Secret Wars, another thing, Secret Wars feels like something that maybe could or should be like a two-parter. Like it's a big deal in the comics. Like it's,
It is.
every continuity coming together is just go.
Just going.
So, they could bring back retired actors from different multiverses. They could bring, previous, previous stuff from other X-Men, Fantastic Four, Blade, Daredevil, like other, like non-MCU Marvel stuff, like they did with No Way Home. It's all on the table. So I just, not that I don't want two Avengers movies in that year. I'm just at this point skeptical that it's going to happen. I welcome it, but I also feel like if they do want to take their time and develop stuff a little more, and like just give themselves time to fully flesh out that movie, take it.
Yeah, it's fair. Because, again, you don't want it rushed and then wasted. Because, again, it is a big deal. But at the same time, two Avengers movies in the same year.
Yeah.
Does sound awesome.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, and I do like that they went ahead and just told people, hey, Secret Wars is coming pretty soon. because the biggest complaint people have had about about this phase of Marvel is the fact that it doesn't feel like it's building to anything. The movies aren't really talking to each other, and it just feels like it's just kind of like a side quest after Endgame, which like at this point
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, I saw that. I saw a meme like that, which was just kind of like, you're not wrong, but
yeah,
like outside of Spider-Man, I kind of agree.
yeah, like I think them going ahead and announcing Secret Wars now is like that's the end. Well, that's the that's the end goal, I guess I'll say.
There you
Like it'll get there someday. Like don't like you know. Obviously, I think that doesn't necessarily invalidate criticisms now, but I would like to believe by November 2025 or whenever that movie comes out, everything will feel like it actually mattered all the way.
go.
So yeah, and they don't need honestly going into this D20 or going into this Comic Con, I was fully expecting them to like only mention stuff through next year. I was not expecting
They laid out everything,
everything.
which
Ironically, one of the main
whatever.
things I was expecting them to mention, like, X-Men or mutant stuff, they didn't really touch on, but they gave us everything else, so it's fine. um,
And again, it might be something that they don't want to touch on because it might be a surprise, or like how they incorporate it might be different than what we think, or
yeah, yeah, or like they don't want to announce it because Ant-Man Quantumanium might do
right, exactly.
something.
Something might happen, or I think it's Loki is going to just mess up everything,
Mm.
and then just where do we go from here? Oh, reality's totally different now. Cool. Like,
Okay, yep. Yeah, there's still plenty of time for them to announce Deadpool 3, uh, or like Spider-Man, Thor stuff. So Eternals, I think, deserves a second movie. Especially since Patton Oswalt finally got a chance to be in an MCU movie. He's just kind of like, I want him to be, to get to be in another one. Um, so that was all great. Um, so I believe it was the day before DC had their Comic Con panel, and they took the opposite approach. They literally only touched on stuff that was coming out this year, which I think is completely valid because they have their DC fandom thing that's going to be in October, I
mhm.
think. So they didn't need to blow out stuff that's honestly, I'm surprised Marvel showed as much as they did since they do have their D23 event in September. They could have just waited, but they
Yeah,
didn't.
but maybe they expected DC to go big, so they went big to kind of outshine them.
Right.
And then DC probably knew that the Marvel knew that they were trying to go big, so they went small.
Sure. Or DC can't go big because they have nothing.
I mean, clearly, yes, but I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna? I mean, basically, your biggest thing was the whole Flash thing that's completely fallen off a cliff now. So you're
But
kind of just like, okay, Black Adam,
and
and then
Shazam.
Shazam, and then that's kind of
But there,
it.
I don't know. I feel like if this panel was even just about announced movies that have wrapped filming, you could have had Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman,
Blue
and
Beetle.
Batgirl because Batgirl is still happening apparently.
Yeah,
That Blue Beetle movie I think wrapped
yeah,
filming last week. Could have I think you could have had something on just those, just like give us concept art, just
anything.
anything. Yeah, but no, just Shazam and Black Adam. Which granted, that Shazam trailer did look really fun.
It did.
So yeah,
It looked very much like the same magic the first one had, which was good.
yes. Um, Yeah, I mean, I don't. It wasn't a very memorable trailer, but when watching it, I did like it. Um, Black Adam just kind of looked like more of the same of the first trailer, which I was kind of hoping. Like that's my main thing I'm worried about with Black Adam is that like there doesn't seem to be a lot to it. There doesn't really seem to be just like outside of Dwayne Johnson being Black Adam, it doesn't seem like there's any hook. There's no
No,
like I don't know. There's like nothing there. I
no,
feel.
no. I mean, I feel like, and that's kind of the problem. It's like kind of going into this. This is it. Almost. I hate to say it, and I know this is. I know this is kind of a reach in terms of an insult, but it kind of gives me that Jared Leto vibe, where it's like this is a movie about Dwayne Johnson, and you just kind of know, all right, this is gonna be go either one of two ways.
Hmm.
This is either gonna be really annoying and boring, or kind of good. But it's like you're worried because there's nothing else really to cling to in this movie. It's like either Dwayne Johnson kills it or this movie's trash. There's
Hmm.
no in between.
I really like the idea of the Justice Society of America, coming together, but like seeing these characters we've never seen on screen before is going to be really cool. Like I never thought they'd ever actually do Doctor Fate on the big screen before,
No,
or Hawkman is also cool,
we'll see.
but I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it.
No, I mean we'll see. Again, it's one of those things where I have to wait till it comes out. But yeah, based on what I've seen, it just kind of feels like Dwayne Johnson, the movie,
Mm.
essentially.
Yeah,
So we'll see how that goes.
yeah. They did announce a couple of new animated DC movies coming relatively soon. Those being Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. I don't know what that means.
So, like an alternate universe where Doomsday comes to Gotham instead of Metropolis? Because that's
Oh,
based
that's
on just hearing that. That's all I'm thinking. I don't know if
yeah.
that's anything close. But also, I feel like Batman would needs to.
He would. Yeah, I feel like the same end result would happen.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I'm not sure because it's like unless he knows something, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't
But that sounds interesting.
know. Yeah, uh, they're doing a Legion of Superheroes animated movie, which
Nice.
I wish they would go ahead and release that show on HBO Max. It's just missing. I would like to watch it, please, but whatever.
Is there a reason? Have you looked into why there
I
could be? Is there
I
some
have
kind
no
of
idea. Probably
legal
some contract with it because I know
give
it's
and
on
take?
Amazon Prime. Probably some contract with them that they can't release it. I don't know. Like essentially, if there's ever a show or movie that's not on a platform that you feel it should have, it's because that studio signed a really stupid contract with the service that it is on for like a 5 to 10 year exclusivity deal without thinking, hey, we might make our own streaming service within that time, and they'll have to wait like 4 years before we can actually get it on our service. Yeah,
Hindsight is crazy.
yeah. um, so maybe one day, but until then, I'll have this to watch. So cool. And also Justice League War World.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. I love Mongol. He's a kind of generic strong alien guy, but like I feel that the concept of the war world is a very fun concept. So
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson as Mongol.
I mean, we've said it could
I
work.
do. Can you imagine the people's elbow he would give to Superman?
Yes, literally yes.
That would be such a good like meta joke, just to kind of like
Hmm.
that'd be also I'd pay to see that.
Yes. um, yeah, I'm sure we'll get more information about DC stuff going forward at the DC fandom this year, which again I think is in October. Um, if there is more Marvel stuff to announce, that'll be at D23. or maybe like further down the year, like they did last year at this like at the Disney investor meeting in December. So even though this was a lot, this is not. This is probably not all we're going to get this year. So, but I'm satisfied right now with Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something kind of funny that happened um, around the DC event. I don't know if you heard about this. There was a heavy rumor that at this DC panel, there was a heavy rumor that Henry Cavill was gonna just like show up and announce that he was gonna be Superman again and announce a new Superman movie. Obviously, that didn't happen, and conspiracy theories flew everywhere. First, Henry Cavill did recently contract COVID while filming season 3 of The Witcher, so people are like, "Oh, he didn't come because he caught COVID." He easily could have
It's
made
like
a
clearly, and no other reason.
yeah. He easily could have made a a video or something
Yep.
to submit
Yep.
instead, but whatever. Like it was so funny watching all of the Snyder Bros and like weird comic nerds on Twitter freaking out over the rumor that Henry Cavill would shadow drop himself in a new Superman movie, to the point where once it didn't happen, they all flooded like any tweet under Warner Brothers that they announced, like, how dare you disrespect your fans by not announcing a new Henry Cavill Superman movie? You promised this and you dropped the ball. It's like you had the easiest win ever and you didn't do it. It's like you were never promised anything.
I'm done with it. I can't. I can't. Like, I don't know, man. It's that fanboy syndrome. I have no words. I can't even. We've been doing this forever.
And here's the thing, like I feel like it's gotten to the point where if 10 years down the line they officially decide to just like reboot everything and announce anyone else as Superman, even if Henry Cavill is like 50 at that point, they're still going to petition for Henry Cavill to be the only Superman. If anyone else at
Mm-hmm.
any point is playing Superman, they're going to be annoyed. And like in theory, I think Henry Cavill could do a really, really good Superman because he's just a
He
really
fits the
cool
part.
dude. Like, there's one
Yeah.
video out there of him just building his own PC, just having a fun time doing it, and it's a very fun video. He's a very personable guy, and I think that's ideal for Superman, just
Yeah.
not the one Snyder gave us.
No, it's like he's a cool guy in real life, and he definitely looks the part too. So I think it would make sense. Like, yeah, he can play Superman, especially if he did Superman correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But again, eh,
And and like a part of me also wonders if these people like have it in their brain. They feel like if Henry Cavill comes back as Superman, that automatically means that Zack Snyder is coming back to direct it.
and that is what makes me sad. Like, bothers me. It's just like, no, like they're just trying to like. I feel like they don't even care about Henry Cavill. It's kind of more just like, oh, I associate Henry Cavill Superman with the Snyderverse.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as Henry Cavill comes back, Zach will be back in the seat. And it's just like, just let Zack Snyder go, man.
Yes.
I'm tired of it.
Like I wouldn't mind a new Henry Cavill Superman movie. Like, I actively want one to be announced at the DC fandom, if one is coming. But I'm not going to say that DC is disrespecting their fans by promising something they never said you would get in the first place. I mean, this kind of thing happens with every fandom. Like, obviously, Nintendo fans are bad about
Yeah.
this. If there's no, Legend of Zelda or Smash or whatever new trailer at any given Nintendo Direct, obviously, all of a sudden they're disrespecting their fans by not showing the
Right.
thing that they decided they needed.
Yeah, it's like you're terrible for not doing. How dare you not fulfill this fantasy that was just made up yesterday.
There was a rumor that Nintendo Direct was supposed to come today. Why didn't you release it? Like, because it wasn't coming today. Sorry.
It's like, because it's not real. This was entirely made up, and then you're mad because the made up thing wasn't like real. It's like, what?
Yep. Slight quick tangent. Back in June, there was obviously, there hadn't been a Nintendo Direct since I think either January or February this year, and they usually do one in June. There was a heavy rumor from like three different, Nintendo leakers that one would come on like June 9th. It didn't come on June 9th. They're like, oh, actually, my source just gave me some new information. It'll actually be on June 16th. It was delayed a week for some reason. And then guess what didn't happen? And then they're like, oh, actually, now it'll be a smaller direct focused on just a small third-party games coming on June 21st. It didn't come then. It came a week after that on June 28th. It's like...
Like, if you don't know, it's okay. You don't have to be right. Like,
sorry, your source was wrong, or they actually just delayed it a couple of weeks.
like, just say it's okay to say you don't know. It's okay.
Anyway, I feel like that's what's happening now with Snyder fans, where it's like he didn't come now, but like there was this one article in particular. I think it was, who was it? It was I can't remember which site originally broke the story, but the site that broke the story, it was Variety or someone like that, broke the story of rumor Henry Cavill was gonna appear at the ComicCon, and then like the day later when it didn't happen, it was like, despite heavy rumors, Henry Cavill did not. It was like you were the one that reported it. No apology. No.
I've noticed. I feel like in the last year or two, reported because not just in like but just like in general, because like in sports media, like all these different media, it's like per sources is like the most like BS thing ever, because it's like you'll just make something up that sounds good and just say like, oh, poor sources, this is probably happening,
and then when
like no actual basis whatsoever.
And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, whoops.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it was just a rumor. Sorry. And it's like
you'll still believe me next time, and you're right.
Like, you're not even doing anything. And like the one time they're right, oh, he always knew. Oh, I knew. I'm the insider. And it's like you just guessed and got you just got lucky and guessed. Like you did not know that. It's so annoying because like every time, especially like, I know this is not a sports podcast, but like it's right now it's between like there's no football, there's no basketball, so like random stories just pop up that are not relevant at all, and it's like, oh, this is totally happening, and like a week later, yeah, that was not a thing, and it's like, oh, poor sources, it's fine. Like, what I mean? They're just making up stuff there's nothing to talk about, and I feel like it's just so annoying because it's just like, leave me alone. If you have nothing to say, just don't say anything. It's okay, but people are trying to keep themselves relevant during the like down off season, and it's just like and like I feel like this is the same thing here. It's like when something's like, maybe something's happening, but you don't really have a big juicy story, you're like, okay, what can I say to kind of get the fans riled up, get some clicks going? What if we think that there's a chance that maybe Henry Cavill could do something, per sources, like it's something stupid, like.
And of course, they never reveal their sources. They never like.
No.
Just
their sources are probably just them.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, you're not going to reveal, like, because it's like, oh, we got to keep we got to keep our sources secure and all that. But it's like, I feel like you just don't have anything.
Yeah, and there is a possibility that it was supposed to happen because he caught COVID. It didn't, and it'll actually be fully announced later. If it does happen,
Or
cool. I'm happy for
or there was nothing. There
uh-huh.
is, and again, this could be one of those things, just like the Snyder Cut. We were like, it's not a real thing. It's a and like what was it? Like a couple hours later, like, oh, this is
No,
actually
it was like
happening.
we were about to wrap up, and I was like check Twitter real quick. I was like, oh shoot, I was wrong.
Well, I was wrong. And again, I'm okay to say I was wrong. There's a
Yeah,
lot of things I've been wrong about. I was wrong about the Harley Quinn show. I thought that was going to be stupid. It's a banger.
very good.
I
Yep.
was wrong about the Snyder's Cut existing. Granted, I still feel like I was kind of right because I don't think I was actually already there. I feel like most of that was rewritten. But all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, you know what I mean? But it's okay to be wrong. It's just like be honest. But I mean, again, this is one of those things that I feel like they're just kind of fishing for just clicks and whatever else, retweets or whatever. It's just like, I don't think you actually have a source. I think you're kind of just saying.
Like, or is it possible that like some complete conspiracy would it be beneficial to Warner Brothers to have one of their own people leak the source to the press, and then so that press riles up the fan base for them to tune into the
Yes.
thing, even though the thing won't have the thing that they said would be at the thing? Would
I
that be
mean,
beneficial to them? Because then they would just hate them for not doing the thing they said they would. I don't know.
but see, my thing is they could do that, rile up the fans, get them initially disappointed, and then could be like the fan saver. You've been asking for it, even though they were going to do it anyway. So it
Yep.
kind of makes them want it more. It kind of
Yeah.
reminds them of something they didn't even know they wanted necessarily. So it kind of just like ups your own advertisement in
Yeah.
a way. Or at least it could. I don't know if it actually will go like that, but I mean that's what I would think.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see later this year if it actually is a thing. But at least as far as ComicCon 2022, Henry Cavill did not reveal himself. So,
Okay.
oh well. Just a couple of little miscellaneous things from ComicCon that I personally found interesting. There was the first trailer for John Wick 4. It looked like more John Wick, and that was good. So, yeah, coming out
Love
next
you,
May, I
Keanu.
think. Yep. We This movie had been rumored for a while, but they officially had the first trailer for the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah.
I think this movie looks like a lot of fun. I think it strikes
It's
the perfect balance between like high fantasy and a movie that feels like it's a bunch of people like making it up as they go, or a bunch of people just kind of goofing off in this on this wacky adventure. And I think that's the perfect balance you
yeah.
should strike for D&D.
Yeah. It definitely kind of feels like it's gonna be one of those like really good or really bad kind of movies.
Mm.
And like based on what you like, you know, the visuals look good, the like the fantasy stuff looks wild. Like some of these creatures look insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like that like eagle bear thing or whatever.
Yep.
But like yeah, that's all. I was like, oh, that looks kind of that
Yep.
looks intense. But
Yep. The
yeah,
mimic the
it
mimic
looks kind of
chest
or
was
that
a lot of
what
fun.
are those things called? Those like mimic treasure
Yeah,
boxes or
mimics.
whatever.
Yep, that was
That's
fun.
like a classic thing. So like
Yep.
yeah, it looks really interesting. It almost kind of like it looks very fantasy 101, which is
Mm-hmm.
obviously what it's going for. And it's also kind of just going off the rails in general, which
Yep.
again has a lot of potential. However, I worry about two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, this kind of gives off the vibe that it showed us all the best stuff already.
Yes.
Which worries me.
Yes.
Because it gives, you know what I mean? Because it kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, there's a lot happening. I'm like, oh no, there's too much happening. What if this is the whole movie? And then the trailer's just a lot of sitting and talking and like references to obscure references that most people aren't going to get.
Yeah.
And also, too, I feel like this movie might rely too much on just like casting, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
having like
instead of acting.
right, just have like
Does
Chris
that make
Pine just
sense?
like Just go.
Yeah,
And
just kind of exist. Like, be Chris Pine. And, like, I feel like I don't know how that's going to work because,
right.
like, one of the reasons that, like, for example, like, this reminds me a lot of kind of Jumanji because, like, one of the reasons the first Jumanji worked was because honestly, Jack Black. But I mean, honestly, like, I think the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and not Chris, oh my gosh, Kevin Hart was really good, and also Jack Black kind of took it over the edge, and I think that helped. But the thing is, one of the reasons I didn't like the second one was because they kind of changed the dynamics, and it didn't work the same.
I see.
And I feel like the chemistry the first time, it really, like, in those specific roles it worked, but I feel like it very easily could have not worked because if you just have actors being actors, like Chris Rock being Kevin Hart. Why do I keep saying Chris Rock? Kevin Hart just kind of being Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson just kind of being Dwayne Johnson in those movies for the most part kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Now here, I'll see how it goes. But again, this has potential to be good, but I also could see some pitfalls in this.
Right.
But again, this is kind of one of those movies that's just kind of out of nowhere. And I feel like as long as they put the passion of the game into it, it could be really good. But we'll see if this isn't just a cash grab or not.
Like, I feel like this movie could go one of two ways. Either it's... Let me kind of back up. I kind of wonder like what the actual premise of the story will be. Will the framing device be that like essentially this is a story being told by the players and this is just like essentially what they're seeing in their head? Or is it more like the Dungeons and Dragons movie from the 90s, which is terrible, where it's like where these characters who are classes in the game meet up and go on an adventure in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. They didn't do it very well, but that's like what happened in that movie. Um, I'm kind of hoping for the former because I think you could get just a lot of fun interactions of like essentially them playing the game as the movie's happening. Like Chris Pine goes to like stab somebody and he just like does no damage. He's like, oh, like he rolled rolled in that zero, or like,
Yeah.
or I in a dream Dungeons and Dragons movie there would be a narrator narrating the entire thing like as they're going, and randomly like the narrator is like, and then they went to the town to the east, and Chris Pine's like, let's go west. Just like, you're supposed to, like, and they just like go, well, I guess we're going west now.
That'd be funny. Can you imagine if there was like just a Morgan Freeman narrating a movie
Yes.
like this? I
Yes.
feel like that'd be so fun.
Because it is the GM's job to like plan out an entire overarching story for the players to just completely mess up.
He's like, all right, let's get this one. And they're ignoring my quest.
Yep. I don't think that'll be the entire movie, but a couple of nods here and there of like,
Oh yeah, they
this
have to.
is essentially they are playing Dungeons and Dragons, and this is what's happening while they're playing it. I think that could be fun, or it could be like you said, all the fun stuff we've already seen. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's all, but I definitely got that vibe watching the trailer because I was just kind of like, there's a lot going on in a first trailer for something. That kind of worries me that the next trailer is going to kind of just be different shots of the same scenes and a little more dialogue, and then movie's going to be slow part, slow part. Oh, trailer moment, slow part, trailer moment, slow part, climax, trailer moment, and movie's over.
Yep.
With a couple of like peppered in jokes. But again, if done well, even that can still be successful. I just don't know if I don't know about this premise as far as like super successful, like unless they really do it, but I mean it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. A lot of people kind of were on Twitter and stuff were complaining about the fact that like the dialogue of this movie felt very Marvel-esque, where they're just doing a bunch of quips and like making references to stuff when like that's I don't know, like I feel like just the average. Essentially, what I'm getting at is the characters who were interacting with each other in that trailer were more or less talking how like friend groups who are close with each other just kind of talk. And
Mm-hmm.
again, if they are going on, this is a group of people playing this game, and this is what's happening while they're playing. I feel that that could work. But if they're just characters in this world, just going on an adventure, it might feel a little old without that framing device. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But
Yeah.
well,
But I think it's coming out sometime next year, so
mm,
we'll see. I think that's everything from everything that interested me from this past Comic Con. Was there anything that you feel I missed or wanted to bring up?
not really. Everything kind of just seems to be like it was a lot of stuff like kind of announced, but again, there's not a ton to talk about outside of what we already discussed because it's like the main stuff was like, hey, here's every Marvel movie for the next 5 years, basically.
Uh,
And then kind of just everything else, not in the mean way, but everything else kind of didn't really seem as impactful. It felt like a Comic Con of more of what we already know, if that makes sense.
yes, and I think a
Like
lot
maybe
of that
too
is the
was
fact that DC, the other major panel, only showed off things
right,
we
which is
already saw.
kind of why. Right, which is kind of why, like, I know when they canceled Comic Con, I was like, people are kind of going away from Comic Con anyway. I feel like it's definitely something cool for like the people who physically go
Oh
and
yeah,
experience it. But I feel like as far as just like announcements and whatnot, it's not really what it used to be because we have D23, DC Fandom, Star Wars Celebrate, stuff like that. So you don't really have like it's not really an outlet for any of the big players except for like the occasional like just an update on this on that, but
yeah.
yeah, it doesn't really feel like it has the same weight it has in like years past. So I
Mm.
mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel it kind of feels like how Netflix is going to be pretty soon. Everyone's got their own streaming service, so Netflix is kind
Yep.
of left with nothing
Uh huh.
except there are like 3 shows that they're all going to cancel. So
They'll have Stranger Things. They'll milk that until it's dry.
yep, and then nothing else
Yep.
because
Because
everything else they do for some reason they cancel it or sell it to
yep.
someone
As you
else.
mentioned Breaking Bad earlier, that's leaving Netflix in 2025. So
Oof,
you know. Uh,
running out of
yeah.
options there. I mean,
Um,
there's always Big Mouth.
sure. And
Yeah, that show got way off the rails.
like they cancel all the other shows and like Big Mouth is coming back for season 7. It's like what?
Is there really that many?
I don't.
Oh man,
I don't think so. Yeah, but like eventually
they're
it'll.
probably gonna get there.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else before we sign off?
That's all I've got from here.
Okay. So with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care.